What's good? Moving quickly, back with another one. A funny story I want to tell. This is about my first shift on Qwick, which will teach you two things. Number one, always be prepared, always be ready. Number two, you gotta be able to improvise, think quickly on your feet, and be able to solve problems. Now, let's paint the picture. I'm at the Druid Hills Golf Club in East Atlanta, like off of Ponce and Clifton, right? And I'm bartending an event through another app that I was already on. And so the supervisor lady, the front of the house supervisor, young lady, she was helping me do something, probably like helping me set up the bar or bringing me liquor or whatever. And we finished doing that, and she, we had a little bit of downtime. So she like, yo, you ever heard of Qwick? I'm like, nah. Like, why, what's up? She like, man, because I think that'll be something good for you, because I could see you an independent worker, quick thinker, you move fast, self-starter, all this little stuff. I'm like, for sure. So she trying to give me the reverse plump up, like, man, you ain't gonna do it. I'm like, oh, for sure, I'm gonna do it. So I look at her, I'm like, look, matter of fact, hey, I gotta go to the restroom real quick. Handle my business. She like, oh, okay, for sure. She already knew what was going on. So I go sign up for Qwick, schedule my orientation, come back. She looking at her phone. She like, oh, I see you already signed up. I said, I told you, I was on it. So maybe like a day or two later, I did my orientation. Maybe even like later that day or the next morning, I start picking up shifts. One of the first shifts I pick up was a bartending gig for this advertising agency. And so it's maybe like the next day or a day or two later or whatever, right? And so what I'm not realizing is, okay, the Atlanta Braves had just won the World Series. And so I'm not realizing when they parade is, right? I'm like, man, because it wasn't even really no big deal to me because I'm not a Braves fan. So whatever. So anyway, the day of my first shift, I go from the Airbnb, which is over there in Oakland City. It was a nice little spot because they, doing a lot of little gentrification over there in Oakland City. So it was a nice little spot. Cool little white lady that owned the property or whatever. And so, boom, go to the MARTA station. I'm not thinking nothing. Everything looks normal at this point. The train come. I get on the MARTA. Man, as soon as we get to the 5 Point station, no lie, it's about 10,000 people waiting to get on these trains. And I mean, people just crowding into these trains. I'm like, man, what's going on? But I'm like, oh, I started seeing everybody with the Atlanta Braves World Champion shirts. I'm like, oh man, it's the Atlanta Braves parade. And so I'm ear hustling, listening to people. They like, oh, the parade route is going up through Midtown, and then they gonna do it. I'm like, damn, I gotta go to Midtown. So I'm like, oh, it's over with, right? Get off at the Midtown station or Art Center, one of them. No, I think it had to be Midtown, because I'm going to tell you why I know it was Midtown. So, get off on Midtown. I'm thinking like, man, I got a shot of something. I'm crossing my fingers. Get off. Everything's blocked off. From like Peachtree to like Spring Street, and from like 10th to like maybe like, I don't know, like 5th Street or something. Like everything was blocked off. So I'm like, look, I got 30 minutes to get to work. Can't get an Uber right now because the plan was to catch the train and then get an Uber. So I'm like, man, I thought I was going to get there like 15 minutes early. Had time to, meet who I got to meet and get about my business. So anyway, I'm like, well, maybe I could go down by Georgia Tech. So I start walking down 10th Street towards Georgia Tech to try to see if I get an Uber over by Tech. No go. All I did was waste about 10, 12 minutes of my time. So now I'm like, all right, cool. What can I do to get there? Because I can't walk to this place because I had to go to Chattahoochee and Howell Mill. Now, mind you, I'm on like 10th, right there by Georgia Tech, right by the McCamish Pavilion, the little basketball arena on Georgia Tech campus. So I'm like scrambling. I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do? And so then I'm like, all right, let me try to get a scooter. So now I'm starting looking on the app for the scooter. I was looking on the Lime app. Now, it was a scooter maybe like a block and a half up. So I'm hurrying up trying to get to the scooter. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me get to the scooter. Get to the scooter. Try to scan the QR code. It's not working. Something going on with my Lime account. Now, I'm not even knowing at the time that Lime and Uber is clicked up. So I'm like, I'm not even going into the Uber app. So I'm like, uninstall the Lime app, then reinstall it. Still not working. So then I'm like, fuck. And so I try to get another Uber. So then I see, I can get a Lime scooter on the Uber. So boom, scan it through the Uber, worked perfectly. Boom, I get on my way. Woo, I'm on the scooter punching it. So, you know what I'm saying, cross north side, get up to Howell Mill, make that right on Howell Mill, punching it down Howell Mill. And then I forgot which street I crossed, but as soon as I crossed a specific street, my little Lime scooter started powering down. And I'm like, man, the thing was fully charged. It can't be, defective like that. So I'm like, man, what's going on? And then it kept blinking, out of range. And I'm like, man. So I was like 4 minutes from the spot with like 5 minutes to get there. So I'm like, man, out of range my ass. So I start pedaling. I mean, like scooting it like like one of them kid scooters used to have. So I'm like using my foot like a skateboard, like kick pushing. And I'm trying to figure out like, man. So man, it was crazy because it was a nice day that day. But so now for me having to exert energy like that, I start sweating. I'm like, man, this is crazy. So I'm doing it as fast as I can. I'm like, kick, push, trying to get to this job or whatever. And so anyway, I got tired of that because I was like a block from the place, and it's like I was supposed to be there like maybe like 2:30 or something like that, and it's like 2:29 or right at 2:30, and I'm like a block away. But it's a nice little block away, so probably about a block and a half. So I just parked that scooter there, and it kept beeping like, cannot park here. I'm like, man. So what I did was I'm just like, look, I'm just gonna take a picture of this thing, and I'm gonna hit customer service for Lime or customer service for Uber, let them know what happened, and take my chances from there, because I'm like, I can't miss out on this money. I don't want to be like super duper late. So anyway, by the time I walk up into the spot, I'm about 5 minutes late. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn. But I didn't know that Qwick gave you like a little grace period or whatever. So I was still considered to be on time, because like as soon as I clocked in, I got a little message like, you are on time to your first shift. I'm like, damn, I'm like 5 minutes late, but they give you like a 5-minute grace period or whatnot. So I was on time, due to my quick thinking and just being able to, because if I would have had to sit around and wait on an Uber or panicked or did anything, I probably would have been way later than that. And it was actually some other people who it was their first shift with Qwick, and they was like 15, 20 minutes late. I was like, ooh. And this one dude, that's another story I tell. He was tripping. He came in, thought he owned the joint or whatever, but they sent his ass home quickly. For real. But anyway, ended up being a really dope event. Ended up meeting some really cool people. We had a lot of fun at that event. A lot of stuff going on behind the scenes I can't really talk about. But dope event, dope people. But yeah, that's my little funny story on my first shift on Qwick. Please use the referral code that is in the description and in the comments. Click the link and then use the referral code. Also, Qwick is for hospitality centered people. There are still some general labor jobs available, but for the most part, it's for people that have experience in the hospitality industry, like chefs, cooks, line cooks, servers, bartenders, bussers, barbacks, etc., etc. So if you don't have much experience in that industry, if you use the referral code, it might say you're not eligible, but there are several tutorials out there that I will make videos about later. And I might also try to find a link to some of these tutorials and start putting them in subsequent videos or whatever. But Qwick is definitely for people in the hospitality industry. So with that being said, use the referral link, use the referral code, sign up, work your first gig. You're going to cash out with $100. I get $100 too, just so we all up front. Shout out to the people that already used the code and signed up. Shout out to the people who already used the code and actually worked their first shift and got their $100 bonus. Moving quickly, and I'm quickly moving up out of here. That was my funny story about my first shift on Qwick. Peace.